going live. Let's see when it says it's live. I'm live, according to stuff. So is how I start talking about things. What I worked on yesterday was this guy. I have a macro lens on my overhead camera right now, which is why this is a tighter shot, but I wanted to more clearly sort of showcase what's happening with these. Let me make this a little darker so you can see a little bit more contrast. I have the volume on my phone, need to turn that down. So I'm trying to say so less often. What I have is this sort of structure where these are interlocking tabs that are on either side of this fold. So let's see if I don't say so as often, but they are isolated pieces which have their advantages and disadvantages. An advantage is very little friction for folding. It just sort of is what it is. I'm able to cut longer pieces of these, what I'm calling spokes, because they're not really functioning as pages, and if it's fully extended, it's like a wheel. There's no gluing that is involved, which is a nice advantage. Disadvantage, more pieces, more assembly, and a little bit more like visually present when you're messing with things. So more issues to come about, and I have to make a new attachment for going on either cover. And what I want to do today is change the format of the spokes, where one of them will be the same. Actually, they'll both be different because they're mirroring. I'm combining this sort of tab with the spoke, so that instead of having this larger section that goes around and attaches to this tab on the spoke, it'll instead just come out and fold down. That'll limit the length that I can make these, because the paper limitations for both the paper that I have and the size of my Cricut cutting mat is 12 inches. So where these could be 6 inches from the middle out before, now they will max out at about like 4 or 5 inches with that added distance, because it's the length of the tab twice over. Next steps will be to remake the pattern design in Cuddle.xyz and then cut it out and test and make sure that all my measurements are generally in place. It's not terribly different from what it is currently. I will need to maintain this intersecting little slot for the tabs of this guy to insert. I will need to still have that on either side so that this can go in between. And that should work pretty well, because it'll still be that the more active folding section is by this tab instead of a actual folded section of paper going straight across. It will also omit these tabs. It'll hide these tabs. All the tabs will be hidden now, which I think will look nicer. Still allows for a slightly shorter necessary continuous piece of paper for cutting out the page. Decreases the total number of tabs necessary, makes it easier to attach to the covers, and hides tabs, because these tabs will now be underneath and be bent a little bit, which I will go ahead and score everything for that. Or maybe I won't for the tabs, because it should just fold, but I will score the fold mark for the new version of things. And it decreases a little bit of the amount of materials used. I'm gonna open up Cuddle, or just show you I already have it open. That's the secret of it all. and then start working on it. Here we go. So I'll be keeping this little cutout here, but I will be essentially just putting this guy out here. So I'm gonna more or less just take information from this and put it out. So this is flat B center. Okay, so let's come into, this is not what I want. I want group 3 is a union, pivot page center. Let's make this total length is just page. You know what? I can get rid of this, and because this spoke page has a weird divider in it. Oh. And then can get rid of this guy entirely. Pivot page center, don't need that anymore. What I do need is a new rectangle, and this rectangle will be spoke length. I'm gonna have to adjust some other things as well. Plus, what is this? Total, oh no, flap center. What is this variable here? Flap B center, the width is total flap length divided by 2. Okay. Scale, total flap length divided by 2. And this is page height. This is 0. And this is plus total flap length divided by 4. So what's happening here on this guy? Okay, this should just be spoke length. And this is flap. I'm gonna call it spoke flap. And then I need overlap tab. So come back here, pull another rectangle. This will be spoke length plus flab, or total flap length divided by 2 plus overlap tab width divided by 2. And this is overlap tab width, and this is page height, and this location is 0. And now I need pivot slot A, which is slit width, pivot tab, insert height. Yeah, let's just copy this guy over. This is plus total flap length divided by 2. And it should give me what I need. Let's delete this guy. That should work, right? And then for center pages, I need an additional score line. So I'm going to copy and paste this. And the point A is spoke length. And this one is also spoke length. And make this negative. Make this negative. And I think that does it. I think that this is like a simpler thing overall than what I was working with before. And then for tabs, I only need half of these guys. So let's just delete this component. And I need a total of 16. And I'll need 1, 2 of these guys. Anyway, flap B. I can also just make this. I'll just treat this as is. It'll be easier. So flap A. Leave this flap A. This is position is 0, 0. If I'm not putting these on the same thing, I can get away with whatever. Let's tile repeat. Repetitions this way. Num pages divided by 4. Num pages divided by 4. And the displacement is flap A total length. Zero that way, and this is page height. And that gives me 16, and what happens if I change the, make this 14 now. Alright, tile repeat. Let's just make one. It only works because, let's make it 4 across, and then num pages divided by 4, which would mean that if I 14, I was like, why are these adjusting widthwise? But 15, I get 12. That's not correct. How can I don't know how you do. Let me look at help. Scripting reference, math, function, sine, cosine, arc, cosine, arc, and tangent. I'm just looking for, and that's if it's negative, positive, sine, floor, ceiling. Okay. Floor. Let me try this. Okay. Is it ceiling or seal? Seal. Okay. I want seal. No, I don't need to mess with that. I wanted to see if... Okay. Right now I'm dealing with 16. This is correct. Alright. Cover is its own thing. I don't need to deal with that right this moment. This should work, right? Oh, I need to... This guy, let's do position 0 to overlap tab width 3, and this is negative page height, and modify linear repetition. Displacement is total, or flap A total length plus overlap tab width times 3 divided by 2. I don't know what I'm looking at, but that works okay. Just have a little bit of material loss. Or what is this is times 3. Not quite there. What all is going into this guy? Rectangle. I got that bit. I was gonna multiply this by 2. This isn't. This exists, and it's in the right location. That should be okay. Okay. Center pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cover I don't need right now. I'll need it eventually. 16 of these guys. These are 8 tall. These are 10 tall now, where before they were closer to like 9 inches. Let's just try it out. I'll cut it out of 2 pieces. We are at a low frame rate here. I'm going to turn this off. And close out of this so that the pacing is a little bit better. Hopefully. Okay. Looks like it's doing better on the playback. So Cricut assign space. I'm just gonna load these in from downloads folder, but for my own sake, live designs, book new tabs. Waiting for Cricut to open up. And load. It says center of pages. Upload this and grab the other option, which is component A, or the other file. Upload that and add these to the canvas. And for both of these, I need to change the thing from cut to score, and then attach these together, and then change this from a cut to a score, and attach those two together. And now let's hit make it. This is going to be 8.5 by 11 for both of these, and I need to prep my mats and get cutting. Click some other buttons. I know that's boring to watch this. It's just a waiting game. As I'm going along, medium cardstock, stuff's loaded. I'll go back over since I'm waiting a minute. Let me pull up in this. Advantages, disadvantages. So it's harder to see when it's just on camera. But as this is sort of structured, when you are looking at this, you get this sort of crisscross section up top because there are tabs that are overlapping, or intersecting rather. I'd say words, and then I think that's not what I meant. And it's too much. I can get away with less. So what I can do is, and what I have done now, is treat this overlap just as a fold. So it'll be attached right here. And just go right there, and then the only tabs will be from these guys, and it'll go and be hidden here, and then it will be folded underneath over in this direction. So when you're looking straight down, you'll see a little bit of tab poking through like right here, but it is more or less omitted. That means that I can have an in-between size for the length of the pages that are cut, while still having hopefully as smooth a folding mechanism, because you'll have two major pivot points that are pretty loose. The main one is this guy in between. That's folding completely a bunch of times. I'll see if this is all worth it, and whether or not it would have been better to have just, with my initial thing, folded something. But that's a learning process. It's interesting getting like a more complex mechanism in place that puts less stress on the paper itself. Another thing that I need to update, when I do the finals of these, I'll use glue and not double-sided tape, which will make these stronger and more flush. The attachments will also make the covers a little bit more intently. And what else on it? I will have an additional piece of paper behind this magnet, which will make this, you can probably see that there's scuffed up sections here. That's just from wear and like attaching to other things and just things of that nature. It's too strong, I think, of an attachment on this side, and so having an additional piece of paper will give that extra padding on that side and make it so it's less likely to have this scuff section, while also making this particular connection, which I don't need to be quite so strong, a little less of a connection. What I need for strength is this direction. Pages are cut out. I won't be stitching anything together today, and I forgot that I can just omit the holes if that's the case, but I'll just tape things together for the time being. Go ahead and prep the folds and tape this together while the tabs are cutting out. The inserts, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. folding stuff. These are about, or these should be 1 inch tall, and so this tape is 1/2 an inch wide is what it's advertised as, but I think it's actually just a hair thinner. And what I'm doing here is just taping all of these on the same side, and then I'll switch to taping the others on the other side. And I only need 3 of those, so same direction, orientation, whatever. Tape it on the right side of 3 of them, and then the last one will just be attached in with the additional tape. So take this, place it here. And that tapes that signature to the next signature, and then put a new one on, and that attaches that one to that one. Grab an alternating tape position, tape that one to that one, grab an alternate, tape that one to that one, grab an alternate, tape that one to that one, alternate, tape that one to that one, and final one, tape it all down. And now all the pages are connected, albeit perhaps loosely at spots. I'm going to read this one. And then grab the tabs that I just cut out. I have enough. As realized in this test that I don't need the ones that adhere to the covers because I'm not messing with the covers today, but these two would attach to the covers. All these tabs are symmetrical along a center axis. And that's scrap. Now let's test this out. So how this will work is, how do I want to attach this? These have to go in through here. And then up through here. There's a chance that I messed up on this a little bit. And then that folds down like that. I might need to adjust I don't know what's easiest. I think it might be easiest to put all of these in this direction and then go from there. For assembling these, I found that curving the one that has a slit cut into it and then setting that down in there is typically the best option that I have. or functions the best. These should only have to be inserted once, like not pulled out and put back in repeatedly. So the amount of stress that is put on the edges is not too important. It can bend a little bit, but still potentially an annoying bit. Because I made the clearance on these pretty tight, and the paper cutting is a little inconsistent. Some of these are easier to insert than others. This has a lot more pushback. A lot more spring. So I'm not sure if I prefer this or not. has a lot more force. This is still the measurements that I had put in place for when the covers were attached, so this is tight. I wish I had put the date on one of these. That lies flat, pretty easy. Okay, this works okay. It looks cleaner on the exterior because you don't have those additional flaps. All the tabs are on the interior. So, looks like that. This is a little bit tight here, but that's because it's meant for the covers to have additional thickness or circumference distance. I'm mildly concerned about how much pushback this has, but it's not so much more material. It just, at this point, the folded sections, which look okay. If you're opening and closing this constantly, you might have some issues. This isn't quite as smooth as this guy that has like no sort of pushback or direction to how it is. This one it has more. Where this, it's just so loose, which is nice, but conceivably an issue. It might be that I like how soft this one is and that it folds onto itself. No issues. This one has some issues, and I think I would rather combine what I've done. Looks a lot cleaner. It's nice to have the component that is folded onto the edge so that conceivably this could just be like a thing cut out, spread across, and then goes from there. Otherwise, it could be that it's just cut out on its own. But then that sort of removes the full concept. The idea that it would be cool to have a stencil. Thinking, talking, thinking. Does look kind of messy. I think if the idea is that it's living extended, that this might be the way to go. Makes assembly a little bit easier. I just wish that it didn't push that much. This one feels much better. Where this one, it works, but it feels worse. Because you got pushback, and it just feels like it's meant to be the full structure, and I think I like this option better. Like, look at that. Bam. No pushback, closes, opens, closes. Where this one, it's zigzagging and pushing back in that inserted tab. Back and forth. But I'm leaning towards just returning back to this. It just feels like it's meant to be played with. This one feels like it's a means to an end. So I think where I'm going to go with it is utilize those back pages for 2 instances, but not the full bit, and so it'll just be attached on one of these guys and one of these guys. And then a bunch of little tabs. So I can build that out pretty easily. just feels nice. I like it. Okay. Anyway, I think that's it for today. Pretty short stream because it was doing some editing on this and it doesn't feel as good. So I would rather not use this option. Close that. And it just wants to do what it does. You open it. It opens and closes as easily in either direction. Okay. So, next time, still more refinement with this. That's pretty much it. If you want to buy stuff from me, you can go to my web store, traceloops.com/store. If you want to purchase something and have it shipped outside of the US, you can email me, traceloops@traceloops.com. You can also email me with comments, concerns, questions, curiosities, commissions, etc., etc. Again, that is traceloops@traceloops.com. If you want to watch this stream or other streams in full, you can do so by going to the live section of my YouTube channel, where you can look through a bunch of live streams. If you want to follow me on other platforms, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, Spotify, all of those places. I'm Traceloops, TRACELOOPS. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Traceloops, where you'll find high resolution versions of artwork that I create during streams, where it makes sense to. These, not really too much to go on, because I'm also refining what the vector files are, so I don't want to be like throwing those out. Because they're not finished and it's not like a work in progress thing. Anyway, high resolution versions of artwork that I create during streams. You'll also find a selection of tutorials, and then at higher tiers, new songs from me weekdays, and at the highest tier you get a monthly postcard from me with original artwork on the front, little message on the back, and a discount to that aforementioned web store. It's Friday. Hope you all have a nice weekend, and I will be back Monday doing more book stuff. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll be back Monday. Adios. I thought that was the mic volume, and so I was like, just turn it down quick, because usually I like to try and fade it out, but I messed that up. So adios.